Mr. President, 45 million Americans, 45 million hardworking moms and dads, neighbors and friends are being threatened right now with losing their jobs. They're being threatened not due to cyclical economic conditions, not because jobs aren't available, not because of some war or other calamity. Their jobs are being threatened by their own government. A government that has chosen to tell them that if they don't comply with a presidential medical orthodoxy, they will be fired. This is unfortunate. It's most unfortunate that this power has been exercised this way. The president doesn't have that power. Congress hasn't given the president that power. Congress doesn't have that power to begin with. This is not a power that belongs in the federal government to begin with. As a result of that, 45 million Americans are being threatened with their jobs. They're being forced to choose between an unwanted medical procedure and losing their job. Now, look, I want to be very clear. I've been vaccinated. My family's been vaccinated. I believe that the development of the vaccines is something of a modern medical miracle. I'm grateful for the vaccine. I think the vaccine is helping Americans be safe from the effects of COVID. It's not government's job. It's not within government's authority to tell people that they must be vaccinated. And if they don't get vaccinated, they'll get fired. It's wrong. It's immoral. You don't tell someone that if they don't do exactly what you want them to do, that they're going to lose their job. The American people overwhelmingly agree. In fact, according to a recent Axios poll, only 14% of all Americans agree with the President of the United States that if someone declines to get the jab, they should lose their job. Now, this is a huge percentage of the workforce. In many states, most states, in fact, somewhere between a quarter and a third of all workers are now being faced with the possibility of losing their job because of these vaccine mandates. This at a time when Americans are struggling just to put food on the table, in part because we've got a government that's spending too much money it doesn't have. It's churning out money, printing it, in effect, in a way that results in rampant inflation, in a way that makes limited paychecks go less far, less capable of buying bread to put on the table. And amidst all of this government-manufactured crisis, government is making it worse, threatening to not just make that paycheck go even less far than it already does because of government, but to take it away altogether. That's not kind. That's not the neighborly way in which we like to do things. It's not moral, and it's not constitutional. Look, it's tragic that this many Americans have to have their jobs threatened as a result of a presidential temper tantrum. There's nothing about it that's okay. Deep down, we all know that it's not okay. And Mr. President, I'll tell you, there's another thing that's not okay. It's not okay that those who want to take away those jobs, those who are just fine with the president exercising this authority, fought tooth and nail to prevent the United States Senate from taking the vote that we're preparing to take tonight. A simple vote that simply allows us to weigh in and decide whether or not we're going to fund that part of government, that feature of our government that's going to enforce the vaccine mandate. Those in this chamber who shamefully were refusing over and over again to let us even cast a vote on that simple measure threatened to shut down all of government because they didn't want to have us have a chance as the people's elected lawmakers to decide whether or not we should proceed with vaccine mandate enforcement. they'd rather shut down the government and make everything worse than they would stand accountable for what they're doing. Fortunately, this part of the story at least has a happy ending. We're going to be able to vote on that tonight. We're going to be able to vote on whether or not we fund vaccine mandate enforcement at the federal level. This is wonderful. This is fantastic. It should not have resulted in days and days of shutdown threats and days of deflection, accusing other people of wanting to shut down the government when all we wanted to do was have a vote, to give a chance to the hardworking mom or dad, soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine struggling to put food on the table. That's all we wanted. And all they wanted to do was use it as an excuse to deflect onto others that which they are doing. We can do better than this. We must do better than this. The American people deserve better than this. That's why I'm so glad and grateful that we'll be casting this vote tonight. But know this. This issue is not going away. I hope with everything in me that when we cast this vote tonight, that a majority of us will do the right thing and that we'll vote the way that we know we should vote, that we'll stand with those people who may lose their jobs. 31% of the workers in my state. In other states, it's higher. 39% of the workers in West Virginia stand to lose their jobs. 37% of the workers in Alabama. 33% of the workers in Georgia. In state after state, we see hardworking moms and dads being threatened. This, Mr. President, isn't right. It's not even authority that the President has. It's not authority that the Congress has. We shouldn't be doing this. Deep down, we all know that that's right. We also know, Mr. President, that some of these problems result from the fact that when we fund the government, we've made significant mistakes as a result of the fact that we've allowed so many spending decisions to be concentrated in one vote on one bill, such that all of government tends to be funded or none of it gets funded. Sometimes the only opportunity we have to weigh in on a particular matter of public policy, one affecting 45 million American workers in this instance, the only chance we have to do that is on a spending bill. And we don't even get that chance unless we can agree that we will vote on an amendment on that. That should never result in a shutdown threat. And when those threats are made, we should acknowledge who's making them. Never once has any one of us wanted to shut down government. We've wanted to give the American worker a chance for us to vote for them, a chance for us to stand with them. I implore my colleagues, please join me in voting to protect the American worker. Don't take away the job of hardworking Americans. Don't fire people because they're not inclined to adhere to presidential medical orthodoxy. Please support me in this amendment. Thank you, Mr. President.